Hello everyone, Dominic Caminata here in another beautiful Warrior Wisdom Walk. I'd like to thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a fantastic day. As you can see here in Madison, Wisconsin, we got a little overcast. It's about 58 degrees. That's why I have my head covered up, a little chilly, but it feels absolutely beautiful to be out here. Nice, cool, crisp, and refreshing day to go for a walk with my 75-pound pack on. Today's Warrior Wisdom Walk is going to be all about leading by example. Leading by example. This is something that when I work with sales leaders, I kind of sound like a broken record because I'm constantly talking about leading by example. But the reason why I say that is because of any leadership tip, any leadership advice you could ever receive, the best thing you can possibly do as a leader is lead by example, because your team is a mirror reflection of who you are and what you're doing. So if I want my salespeople to act and behave a certain way, or to embrace a certain sales strategy or certain habits in their daily life, I needed to be the one at the front lines, leading by example and emulating the behaviors that I expect from my team. Because there's one thing that's certain, there's nothing more confusing to a sales team than having clear standards and benchmarks, but yet setting a bad example. And again, I'm not accusing any leaders of doing this, by the way, so if you are setting a bad example, the good news is you can fix it. But some leaders do fall into the trap of getting stuck at the office, leading behind a desk, barking orders and commands to their team without being active in the field with their reps or being hands-on with one-on-one coaching and really involved in results-driven endeavors, right? And that's one thing I want you to ask yourself. Of all the things you're involved in, and I did a whole Warrior Wisdom talk on the subject, how much of it is actually improving the performance and results of your team? So now there's different things I can do to lead by example, okay? Now, of course, one thing you all know that I'm a big fan of is health and wellness. So I don't think it's a secret nowadays that if you have a sales team that is super passionate about health and wellness and physical fitness, that sales team will have the ability to outperform an average sales team, because you sell proportionate to how you feel, right? So if your sales team is optimal physically, they take care of their temple, they're going to have a lot more stamina, mental fortitude to be shining stars in the industry and go on to their being able to control their disruptive emotions a lot more proficiently than a sales team that is unhealthy, unwell, and not optimal. Well, guess what? If I want a team that is optimal physically fit, I need to take my physical fitness, health and wellness seriously. And I would make that like a core value, a fundamental element of our sales culture, who we are, is health and wellness, right? We need to be optimal because you sell proportionate to who you are and how you feel. So that's leading by example. So I share the story all the time that when I did bodybuilding, I did 3 bodybuilding competitions while I was a sales leader for Mad City. And as I was getting in shape for each competition, our sales performance increased company-wide. Now, how in the world would me getting in shape have anything to do with sales? Well, I inspired my team. So when they saw me transforming myself, leading by example on the front lines, getting optimal, and they could see the physical development and how I was meal prepping and cutting out all the boozing, and I was taking my health and wellness seriously, all of a sudden my salespeople started to follow suit. They started eating better, eating cleaner, taking their health and wellness seriously, working out more. And when you look good, you sell good. You feel good, you sell good. All this stuff, transference of feeling and energy and motion, right? As we talked about in other Warrior Wisdom talks. But other ways that a sales leader can lead by example, other than physical fitness and health and wellness, is knowing the damn game, knowing the playbook better than anybody. It's amazing to me how many sales leaders I talk to around the country that haven't taken the time, taking responsibility for mastering the playbook. And the simple thing I like to explain is, okay, how do you expect to intelligently coach any team and get them to execute the plays at a high level if I, first and foremost, don't know the game forwards and backwards? So that is my duty and obligation as a leader to know that playbook upside down, inside out, frontwards, backwards, so I can explain it intelligently in a very simplified fashion, break it down in kindergarten terms to salespeople of all walks of life, different personality types, different levels of intelligence, and get them to execute the plays at a high level to achieve a common goal. Just like if I'm a coach for a team, I got all kinds of different athletes, all kinds of different strengths and weaknesses, shapes and sizes. If I know the playbook correctly, I know how to take all these different people with different strengths and weaknesses and get them to execute the plays to get the best result possible to achieve a common goal as a team, right? So I got to do the same thing in sales. I got to learn that playbook. So it's like step one of leading by example as a sales leader. If you don't believe in the system, neither will your team. If you don't take responsibility for mastering the system, neither will your salespeople. So I need to, again, be leading by example, emulating those action and behaviors that I'm commanding my salespeople to do. As a matter of fact, when companies engage with Grosso University in the beginning, and they just want to throw our sales training at their salespeople, I'll push back on that because I know that if leadership first doesn't take responsibility for mastering the system, they're not going to be in a position to introduce this to their team in a way where they can command respect and loyalty and hold their team accountable. So you command that respect and loyalty when your team knows for certain that you know the system forwards and backwards. And even more important than that, can you take the sales system, the playbook, and demonstrate to them how to actually execute that in a real sales encounter, in a real home with a real customer, and have it lead to a successful outcome. This is one of the big things I wanted to talk about on this Warrior Wisdom Talk in terms of leading by example. One thing I see missing from a lot of sales leaders, whether you're a sales trainer, sales leader, or a field manager, is doing what I call demonstrational ride-alongs, okay? Because you'll have salespeople that will form bad habits. You'll have salespeople that will develop their own way of navigating the sales process over time. And in some cases, salespeople think to themselves, well, my way's better than the way they train in the classroom. They kind of develop their own system that works for them, and they have reasonable levels of results from that system, but they don't believe wholeheartedly that they could get better results if they get more brilliant at following the system, brilliant at the basics, right? So until I can have them ride along with me and observe me following the system to a T, and have that salesperson witness how when you follow the system to a T the right way, how the close becomes a natural conclusion, it actually makes this difficult job the easy work of all time. Until they see that actually happen in reality, you can bark at them all you want. They're not going to be bought in. They're not going to believe. So we've heard in a lot of books, I know the book Beyond the Hammer with Brian Godley, he talks about how belief is transferable. Well, this is how you transfer that belief. Leading by example. I tell you what, the easiest way that I would turn salespeople around in my leadership career was having them observe me in the house, following the system step by step, exactly the way we train in the classroom, and have them observe that leading to a successful outcome. Even having that salesperson record me in the house, write an evaluation on my performance, like dissect it, break it apart, put it back together. I need you to see and understand the psychology of the sale and why this works so well. And I need you bought into what we're doing. So of course, it's really healthy to observe your reps, and hopefully when you're riding along with your reps and observing them, you're doing detailed written evaluations on their performance. So you can have an intelligent debriefing with them, because the dullest pencil's better than the sharpest memory. But don't be afraid to do a demonstrational ride along. Actually have the rep watch you work your magic, because you've taken responsibility for mastery, complete mastery of the art of the in-home sale. Whatever your step selling system is, if it's the Grosso system or your step selling sales process, you gotta learn that thing better than anyone. I'm talking like anyone. You wanna know it so well that someone could literally wake you up in the middle of the night 10 years from now, pour water in your face, slap you, and be like, give me the script verbatim. And you could do that without thinking. That's leading by example. Now also, how many books are you reading? So you've heard me talk about self-development a lot on these talks, but do your salespeople see that you're constantly learning, that you're constantly educating yourself? You're constantly trying to level up. Do they see that you're comfortable getting vulnerable, not being afraid to ask for help? So too often, we complain that our salespeople are not open with us, they're not honest with us, they're afraid to ask for help, they appear to be alone on an island all by themselves, and they're kind of drowning, right? It's a sink or swim sales culture because they're too afraid to come up to you and be honest and ask for help. Well, that's the culture that you built because you're not leading by example. So some of the best conversations I ever had with my salespeople is being open with them and being like, you know, leadership is not something I was born into. This is something I was very much put into. Like, I love being a leader, but I'm as open-minded as they come. I just want to ask you, like, if you were me, what are some things you would do better or differently to better command this team? What are some ways that we could have more productive sales meetings? What are some ways that I could better support you and give you the tools and resources to make this job easier for you? How can I best serve you, right? Because again, leadership, I love the book, by the way, Love is Just Damn Good Business by Steve Farber. He says, do what you love in the service of those who love what they do. So leading with love first and foremost, but not being afraid to get vulnerable, let your hair down, be open and honest and transparent. And I want my salespeople to feel like they're also invested in part of the experience. But what I'm doing, I'm leading by example and being open and upfront and honest and letting them know I don't have all the answers. So then they don't feel afraid or bashful to come up to me and share the same sentiment, right? That, hey, you know, I need help here, or I could use some guidance here or some wisdom here. Because the simple thing about humanity is, you know, you could be the best leader of all time, but you still don't have all the answers. And what I always share with my salespeople is, you know, I know some things you don't know. You know some things I don't know. Together we can do great things. So it's very much a team effort. And one thing I'll commonly share is I learn more from my salespeople than I learned from any book I've ever read or any seminar I've ever attended. Because I very much turned it into a mastermind group where every day we're constantly sharing best practices, sharing ideas with one another, and trying to grow together as a collective unit. What's up? How you doing? How's it going, puppy dog? It's okay. Thank you. Yeah. Beautiful dog. So, leading by example. So I want you to ask yourself, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's education, whether it's mastery of the system, whether it's being a person of high integrity, morals, and ethics, being a positive, inspirational, uplifting figure in my sales organization, truly living whatever core values you have written on the wall. Am I truly living those out and leading by example? So I want everyone watching this today to really challenge yourself, because you have to understand that your team is a mere reflection of you. So Nick Richmond always shared this, my good friend, the owner of Matrix Home Solutions. He's a big part of Grosso University for years. He always shared that the fish sinks from the head down. And it truly does. So that's why I always said in that results warrior wisdom walk that you have the company you deserve. Your company, your team is a mere reflection of who you are. But really challenge yourself, really ask yourself, okay, how can I better lead by example in my personal and professional life? Because I understand as a leader, I am always on parade, which means they are watching everything you do 24/7, 365. And it's almost as if your salespeople are looking for a reason to not respect you and a reason to not like you and not look up to you as a mentor, as a leader. So be someone worth following. Be someone worth taking advice from. And it all stems from you being a high-level coach that can actually coach yourself, right? So can you coach yourself to be optimal? Can you coach yourself to have a healthy lifestyle, to be physically fit, to educate yourself? So start being better at coaching yourself and your daily habits and your rituals and your lifestyle. Lead by example in every form of the fashion, because your team is watching everything you do, how you act and behave in your personal and professional life. And any of those things I want my salespeople to begin acting out in their career, I need to lead from the front lines and demonstrate to them what that looks like. This is why I'm such a big fan of those demonstrational ride-alongs. I think that's one of the fastest ways to turn a sales rep around that seems to be floundering, seems to be stuck, is actually having them observe how it's done. Seeing is believing with a lot of these salespeople. We can talk about it philosophically all day long in the classroom, but until they see it unfold with their own eyes in reality in an actual sales encounter, they're always going to be skeptical. So don't give them a reason to be skeptical. Take responsibility, master the game that is the art of the in-home sale, master your playbook, whatever it is. If you don't have a playbook, again, Grosso University can provide you one. If you do have a playbook, get brilliant at the basics. That's really what this game is all about, being brilliant at the basics. And sometimes that's not emphasized enough, right? How powerful that is. If I can just get brilliant at the basic fundamentals of the game. There's actually a conversation I had with a sales leader today. You look at the finest athletes in the world, they spend most of their time ensuring that they're always brilliant at the basic fundamentals of the game. And of course, they work on the advanced stuff too. But sometimes the basic foundational fundamentals of what it takes to be a top performer are often overlooked. So I challenge all you sales leaders today, be optimal in every way, shape, or form. If you have this dream of building a high-performance powerhouse sales organization, that comes from you being a powerhouse, high-performing individual from top to bottom. And your salespeople will pay attention, you will inspire them, and they'll start leveling up their game in ways you can't even imagine. So I hope you enjoyed this Warrior Wisdom talk. You can see I'm breathing pretty good. It's definitely a good workout here today, getting my steps in. So if you like this content, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, don't miss an episode of this. Again, we're going to be sharing loads of content for sales warriors, for leaders, just overall life coaching, health and wellness, what it takes to be optimal. And as I mentioned, I'm going to have a boatload of content on self-sabotage. I'm actually going to become a certified overcoming self-sabotage instructor. That was a big goal of mine this year. So I'm happy to report that I begin that journey very soon. So you're going to be hearing a lot more content from me and just how to optimize your life and how to be a beacon of light in this dark world that we live in. So I appreciate your time. I'm grateful for you. I hope you found value in this video. On behalf of the Grosso University team, yes, you are our closer.